Hey friends, so last week and this week I've been talking a lot about feeling confident in your diet and how that really builds your foundation so that you can help baby heal without feeling like crap yourself and without feeling hungry and grumpy and discouraged and just having no idea what you're doing and just not feeling good about food and life anymore. So we want to build this foundation of confidence in what you're doing, right? And in food and just feeling good about what you're eating. So today I want to talk about everything you need to know in your like first week or so of going dairy free. And I stuttered there a little bit because it's not everything you need to know to get started with dairy free. We talked a lot about that last week in the free web class I did. We talked about different symptoms and how you can use your baby's symptoms to help come up with a plan. So there's a lot that is really, really helpful in building this foundation of confidence, even like as you're just getting started dairy free. But in that actual like first week or so of being dairy free, here's kind of what you can expect. Okay, so let me know if you're watching, say hello. Let me know how long you've been dairy free. If you're new, even if you're not a newbie, some of this information might be kind of helpful if you're not feeling super confident in your diet. Okay, so first thing, when you first start out with dairy free, I always say I'd like to see at least some improvement in baby symptoms within the first week or so, right? So we know, and research shows us too, that it can take like 2 weeks or even longer for symptoms to completely clear up. Usually about 2 to 4 weeks if just the food allergy or food sensitivity is really the only issue. Much longer if there's deeper issues like with gut health, which we talk about a lot here, right? Because that happens to a lot of us, dealing with deeper issues than just simply removing the food, right? But either way, I would like for you to see at least some improvement in your baby symptoms, whether it's a little bit less reflux, they're a little bit more comfortable, their skin is maybe starting to look a little bit better. If they have mucus or blood in their poops, maybe it's either less mucus or blood, or the frequency of seeing the mucus or blood is less. But either way, I want you to see at least some improvement in baby symptoms in the first like week or so. And if not, then there's more things we can talk about. But we're not talking about that today. Let's just get started, build our foundation of being confident, right? So you can expect to see some improvement in the first week or so. And I think this kind of can come as a relief to a lot of moms, because a lot of times I see like, I just cut dairy 2 days ago and my baby is like a completely new baby. Is this even possible? And the answer is yes, that's awesome. It's totally possible. And that's great. And don't, just because you see there's so many, everybody's journey is different, right? We talk about that a lot too. Everybody's journey is totally different. So it can be helpful kind of learning from each other and seeing other people's experiences. But just because you see a lot of people struggling and having a really difficult journey and taking a long time to get to the bottom of baby symptoms, which you don't need to be struggling while you're doing that. And if you are, then reach out, check out my Clarity and Confidence program, because we can get that fixed so you don't need to struggle. But even though you see a lot of stories of moms having a hard time getting to the root of their baby symptoms, doesn't mean that needs to be your story, right? So believe it, if you start to see improvements within a couple days, that's great. And let's celebrate it, okay? Next, and this is in my dairy-free toolkit, if you've downloaded that, my next tip is check everything. So in the dairy-free toolkit, it gives you kind of some common foods that might have dairy in them that you wouldn't expect, like seasonings or wine or certain deli meats and things like that. And we talk about in the dairy-free toolkit like different allergy regulations for the US and how to read labels and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to talk about that here, but I want you to know to check everything. So this is going to be a new way of life. I've told this story before, but before I went dairy free, when I was pregnant with my first, I was introduced to So Delicious ice cream, dairy free ice cream, right? We all know So Delicious by now, right? And it's a whole long story, but basically I specifically remember saying to my husband, eating the ice cream when I was pregnant, I was like, this is so good. Like, I don't know why anybody would need like dairy-free ice cream or like without this and that and this and that, but it's really good. So, and now fast forward like 6.5 years later, and I totally get it. I was like, that's how ignorant I was. But If you were like me, completely ignorant into the whole idea of food allergies and food sensitivities and being dairy free and all that kind of stuff, then you're gonna have to get used to checking everything and reading labels, right? And thinking like, okay, just because it's not something that I would think obviously has dairy in it doesn't mean that it might not have dairy in it. So learning to check labels. I have tons of resources and videos and blog posts and everything for you guys to kind of learn how to check labels, learn how to read labels, figure out how to change your diet so that you're eating less processed foods and less packaged foods that actually have labels to read, so that it's much easier and simpler and not as expensive. So again, that's a whole nother topic, but just getting used to the fact that you're going to have to be reading labels, and it might take some time to adjust to that. And knowing that we've all had slip ups, we've all messed up before. I think we were kind of talking about that a couple weeks ago in the group, so it's okay. But just start, like this is going to be a new way of life, just checking labels and asking questions about the food. Next thing, third thing, I think, I'm just looking at what I wanted to talk about. Oh, other things we want to, other than food that with labels on it, medication, alcohol doesn't have ingredients in it, right? So like wine and beer and mixed drinks and things like that. Personal care products, they could easily have allergens in them. So you want to check everything. And again, certain like household products don't have to have all their ingredients in them. So just checking everything, asking questions. If baby's super sensitive, then it might be emailing or calling the manufacturer. Or again, like I said, I have a lot of resources for you to just kind of simplify, so you don't need to be spending all this time reading labels, spending all this time asking questions and emailing manufacturers and all that stuff. We can totally simplify, which is what we need right now, right? With this big lifestyle change, with a baby that's uncomfortable, not knowing what to eat, like let's simplify as much as we can. So I can help you with that. Okay, so last thing, and this is something that really upsets me, and actually someone reached out to me in my inbox the other day saying that their doctor told them to switch, and this is something I hear all the time. It's not just this one person, and let me know if this has been you before too. But their doctor told them, yep, baby might have a dairy sensitivity or a dairy allergy, so cut dairy from your diet, switch to this allergen-friendly formula for a few weeks while it gets out of their system, while their gut can heal, right? And then mom's pumping and they go back to nursing, and either baby doesn't want to nurse anymore, or the supply is totally dropped because your pump isn't as efficient as like having baby nurse on demand, right? So this is something, knowing that you do not need to switch to formula. You can breastfeed through the whole thing, and not only can you, but you should. So number one rule of breastfeeding, protect your supply, right? If you want to breastfeed and it's important for you, you want to protect your supply. And how does your supply work? Well, from demand, right? So nursing your baby when they're hungry, when they eat, you want to nurse them and protect your supply. So number one rule. But other than that, I get so upset when I hear doctors say that formula is going to let baby's gut heal, because I'm just trying to, so formula, if baby is incredibly uncomfortable and nobody's sleeping and things are just miserable, or they have a really, really serious life-threatening reaction where they're breaking out in hives, or, I mean, yeah, we probably want to switch to formula for a short period of time so that baby can live and be healthy and everyone can survive and thrive, right? But if it's not that like drastic level, and everyone has their own level, right, of what they can handle, then breast milk, even if it has some things in it that baby is sensitive to, like dairy proteins, it's still like countless times better for your baby than formula is. And I totally understand when formula can come in and formula can be necessary or formula can be helpful, but just hearing your doctor say, oh yeah, switch to formula for a few weeks while you get dairy out of your system, and maybe you're like, that doesn't feel right, or maybe that upsets you and makes you cry because you want to breastfeed, like however you're feeling about that, if it doesn't feel right, you don't need to do that. Okay. And not only do you not need to, but it is, like I said, unless it is very serious reaction, just keep nursing through it, because your breast milk has everything your baby needs to grow and develop and to heal their gut, right? So when doctors say switch to formula to give their gut a break and allow it to heal, I mean, yeah, there's kind of some truth to that, maybe because you're not introducing this protein that they're sensitive to them. But other than that, the amount of the protein in your breast milk is super small. It goes away very quickly within like 24 hours. And they're being introduced to like really small amounts. And like I said, your breast milk has more than just the proteins, and it has more than just fat and carbs and sugars and all that kind of stuff. It has enzymes to help them digest their food. It has specific like oligosaccharides, which are types of sugars that feed the good bacteria in their gut. Oh man, in their gut. It has like all the things your baby's gut needs to heal, way more than what formula has. So yeah, formula will kind of give them a break, I guess, but it's breast milk is going to be so much better, right? And you want to protect your supply. So just know you do not need to switch to formula in your first few weeks of being dairy free. Nurse through it unless it's something that is intolerable by you and your baby. Okay, so let's recap. These are 3 things to know in your first about week or so of being dairy free. Number 1, I want you to at least see some improvement in baby symptoms within the first week or so. If you're not, then let's follow up on that. And we'll figure out some troubleshooting. I have tons of resources for you, but celebrate it. If you are seeing some improvement in baby symptoms, it's not like some random miracle that's happened. It's real, and that's good, and that's what we want to see. So celebrate it and keep doing what you're doing and stay motivated, right? Number 2, check everything. Get used to this new lifestyle of asking questions, checking labels, questioning things, thinking everything through. And if you need help simplifying that because you've got a lot of other stuff on your mind, like an uncomfortable baby and not knowing what to eat and all this other stuff, and just having a baby in general, right, on top of like whatever else is going on in your life, we want to simplify as much as we can. So I have resources for you on how to simplify that. And then lastly, you do not need to switch to formula for the first couple weeks of going dairy free. Breast milk is the best thing for your baby's gut, no matter what. Okay. I'm not saying it's the best thing for you and your baby. I understand when formula is something that can be really helpful or necessary, but still, we all know breast milk is better for baby than formula, like purely health wise. Okay. So that's it. So this is kind of like part of your foundation of confidence, right, that you need to build so you can feel good while managing your baby symptoms. So tomorrow I'm going to go back, because if you're like, well, hold on, Michelle, like you're saying if I don't see improvements, we need to troubleshoot more, like what do I do? And, I've been dairy free for this long and I have these questions, blah, 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 blah. I'll be back tomorrow and we're going to talk about building your foundation even more, because the more knowledge you have, the more support you have, the more confidence you have, right? And the more confidence you have, the easier it will be and the better you'll feel, okay? And then the better baby will feel. So tomorrow I'll be back talking about what to expect. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my nose. What to expect in the first month. So if you are beyond the first week or 2 of dairy free, or maybe you haven't seen any improvement in baby symptoms within the first week or 2, come back tomorrow. We'll talk about what to do in those first 4 weeks and what you can expect. All right. So hopefully everybody is having a great day and building that foundation of confidence. If you need more help feeling more confident and feeling better and knowing what to eat and feeling better about what to eat while managing, like on top of managing your baby symptoms, because that's a lot, right? Having an uncomfortable baby. If you need more help with that, go find my Clarity to Confidence program, and it's got all this information and more all put together so you can really, really build that foundation and feel good while helping your baby. How amazing is that? All right. Have a great one, everyone. Bye.